Welcome everybody, trying out the new thing, the new parts of the new app, the other app that I normally string with. So, bear with me, and no, I'm not actually on the bike. I am actually in a cart. Figured I'd give it a try, see how it goes. I just want to see if the new version of the app will actually let me see if anybody starts talking. Let's see what goes on there, because it's supposed to let me know whether or not people are watching or not. So, not exactly sure if it works or not. Don't want that. So, yeah, I don't know how it works, how it don't work. All that jargon. And just outside of Crossville, fixing to hit I-40 and head west. Just don't own the music rights, whatever, for those that get hit in a tizzy about music, but at the same time, don't exactly like driving without music because it's boring. It will actually cause me to fall asleep. So yeah, they're just gonna have to get over the musical ordeal. It's not like I got followers anyways to worry about monetization and all that junk, so it's not like I'm really worried about it. And some of the music I listen to is so old, some of y'all probably that do happen to run across probably never even really heard it. Maybe you have, but it's been a while. I don't even know whether or not the voice is even being recorded real good or not. So, I mean, like I said, it's one of those deals where just trying it out, seeing how it goes. Because I can't really tell if anybody's watching or not, which is stupid. It's supposed to let me do. Why is it not letting me know? Nope, don't want to chat. Don't want to send no texts. Kind of hard to text and drive. I don't exactly believe in that anyways. Yeah, go ahead. Hit the fire truck. Hit the fire chief, see what happens. I'm sure that'd be real lovely. But let's see how this works, because it's supposed to stream to all, let's see, YouTube, Facebook, and my Twitch all at the same time. So, not exactly sure if it's doing it or not, but we'll figure it out. I guess I'll have to figure out, because I still gotta get some of the other stuff figured out at some point. So, first things first, all babies must learn to crawl before they can walk. So, that's what we're doing. Seeing if this works, and if this works, then I'll figure out how I'm supposed to set it up to where I can actually see comments and see how many people are actually watching. That way, have a little bit more of an interactive live than normal, I guess. asked me at work if I was crazy enough to actually be seriously taking the bike. And honestly, I had actually thought about it. The thought did cross my mind until I looked at the temperatures. They said the temperatures are still in the teens, and there's still a little bit of snow on the ground still. Plus snow in the forecast. I was like, I haven't had the chance to ride the bike in the snow yet, so no. I was bound to be halfway across the country, away from the house. No access to any other vehicles to get back towards the house. So, am I speeding? Hey, I can actually read. I can actually see his message. Ah. No. Not really, no. I just don't like taking my time though either. At least I can tell I'm streaming the Facebook evidently, because the comment comes from Facebook. So that's cool. I just happen to glance over and see it. No, it's actually going up and down these little hills and these trucks. The looks are deceiving, I will say that. Because there are some of these hills out here on these interstates, especially in Tennessee along 40 that you don't really notice that you're actually going up a hill until you start noticing the truck drivers having issues getting up the hill. Some of them are a little bit more obvious, others not quite. But yeah, my vehicle for this ride is I think it's a 2020. It might be a 21. Nissan Altima. It's got to be a 20. We've had it. I bought it for my daughter a couple years ago. So, yeah, I think it's a 20. He's an Altima. So, yeah, a little four-bagger. But my 08's got 308,000 miles on it. It still drives. It's just gotta get 2 sensors fixed on it. I think is what the issue is. I just really haven't had the time to put them in, or the money to have somebody put them in. So it's been parked for about a year now. But otherwise, I'd be driving my own car instead of hers. Device is too hot? Okay. That's unusual. Don't know how or why, but okay, I'll fix that issue. Really, really quickly. You froze? No? Let's give it some cold air. Problem averted. But, heading to South Dakota. And I'll be making another trip in August. So, but it'll be done on the bike more than likely. I don't see me taking the truck and trailer in the bike. So. At least I know Facebook is working. That's a good sign. I guess. Trip this year for the rally though, for starters, I think I might actually try to force myself not to just go straight all the way to my dad's place and then hop over the I'll be going through will be Nashville, St. Louis, Kansas City, Omaha, and so forth. I could go up towards Chicago and cut across 80, but realistically, I don't really like being anywhere around Chicago. Even back growing up, I really didn't like to be, whenever we would travel, going around Chicago. I remember just how bad the roads were then. I'm sure they're probably worse now. But giving this a test, see how it's doing. Anybody on YouTube happens to be watching or on Twitch, if y'all don't mind, drop a comment, say hi, something. I don't really care what. I'm just curious if it actually will show me the comments from YouTube and Twitch. But overall, at least I know Facebook's working anyways, where I can see the comments on Facebook, so that's cool. That's something that's new now that I didn't have before. On the way down to Daytona, when I streamed on the way to Daytona, couldn't see nothing, whether anybody was watching or whether anybody was even typing anything, unless I stopped and looked at the actual channels. But I watched a video where it sat there and said where you can stream the different platforms off this one app now and with the updates, so I was like, cool, I'll try to see if I can actually see how it works. Oh, just going up to my stepsister's wedding. What's going on in Sioux Falls that I know of, other than snowstorm. I think it's supposed to be a snowstorm this weekend. Be probably the first time in years to actually be driving in actual snow. Well, we get a little bit here in Tennessee from time to time. Not much, but I think it's pretty well snow covered still up in South Dakota still. So, yeah, last time I actually got to drive in actual snow, what I consider to be actual snow, was 93. Right before I left high school, going to the Marine Corps. I lived in UP. I ain't seen real snow since. Sad. Sad. Post on Facebook, hey, what would be a good weekend for our 30th year graduation reunion? And I'm like, it's been 30 years already, and then all of a sudden you stop and think, and it's like, yeah, it has. Whoa. Yeah. It's been a while. So yeah, it's been about 30 years since I've actually driven in actual snow and seen actual snow. Alright, Bill. We'll see you later. I'll be live for a while. So, yeah. Appreciate you making comments. At least I can see how that it's streaming somewhat. drive all the way through. I think I'm supposed to be there at about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, I think. Sometime around lunchtime. I just don't really know because I'm not on the bike, so this is kind of sort of new territory. So I won't have to make a stop anytime soon, which if I was on the bike, I'd be about a half a tank already right now. Gas gauge ain't even budged yet on the car. So, should be interesting. How much time difference there is between driving to South Dakota compared to riding to South Dakota. Especially the stretches from the house to Kansas City. Because if I'm going to stop anywhere, it'll probably be where I've been stopping at, just outside of Kansas City. If I decide to stop, it'll probably be somewhere just past Kansas City on 29. So. There will be that. Typically, I'm stopping at least once every 200 miles roughly when I ride on the bike. Driving kiddo's car. I don't know what I'm looking at. I know I won't be stopping as much. I know that much already. So it's going to be interesting to see how much of a difference it is time-wise. Just to see how come riding a bike is actually, how riding a bike versus driving across country time-wise actually is. Because I took the later part of rush hour. Look. I was trying to figure out how to avoid it, but I forgot they're an hour behind us. On YouTube, or anybody's watching on Facebook happens to have my YouTube channel, or knows how to go to my YouTube channel and watch the stream there, y'all could say hi or something on YouTube just to see if it actually pops up whatever somebody says for me, please. Pretty please. I know Facebook's working. So if you're watching, kiddo, you can actually type in the chat and I'll actually see what you say. That is when I glance over anyways. I won't be able to read long messages. But highs and whatnot, I can actually see some quick questions I can glance over and see. Stuff like that. Could swing by and make a surprise visit to one of my friends. It's along the way. And I've done in the past. by real quick, wave and say hi to my friend that's along the way, or wait till I got swing back or swing through later on the way back. That is a very good debatable question. I will have to stop at some point though for dinner. Not to mention something to drink. I haven't ate nothing yet today. Oh yeah. Haley, if you happen to be watching, I do got my camera. I actually got 2 drones with me, and even got my little pocket camera too. So I can get some other stuff for you as well this weekend. If you're watching. Not sure if you are or not. You haven't said anything, neither has Dad. Oh, Bob freaked out a little bit. Just seeing when I made the post on Facebook heading out west, she was like, what the heck? I had to call her real quick before starting the live stream. Missed a spot on the windshield. Oof. Hey, look, a plane. Yeah, it ain't got a freaking 30-mile long palm trail behind it either. Something amazing how that works. I do despise it. Alright, just about in Cookville. Well, I am. Those of you that are watching, that's the weed. anybody's happens to be on Twitch and is watching, by all means, please say hi. Say something, a little happy face, a little smiley face, just something. I'd like to. I'm just trying to figure out how this app is working. Whether it's just going to let me see comments on one stream, or if it's actually all three streaming channels, or what the deal is. Heck, then again, I may not even be streaming to the other two channels and not know it. It's supposed to be streaming to 3 different channels, but don't really know. Post our Google reviews. We're 4.5 stars. I guess for a car dealership, that is kind of sort of a decent thing. A decent thing that they actually got that many reviews on Google review to be that high rated in stars. Most dealerships I know of, they like to tend to screw you. Part of the game. I mean, Harley Davidson, for example. My dealership done good. Most dealerships do you good, but there are other dealerships out there that not only rake people over the coals, they also like to bend them over the steel table. Then on top of that, don't even really like having to deal with the warranty claims. So they tell everybody, oh no, that's denied, that's void, no, warranty's voided. All because they don't want to do the paperwork that a dealership is supposed to do. I have noticed that when it comes to Harley Davidson and the dealerships, being that the dealerships are individually owned. They're actually franchises, just like most car dealerships are. But different owners do different things. I know White Lightning and Mountain Creek Southern Devil, Smoky Mountain, Killer Creek, all of them. Oh, Bootleggers and not too sure about Knoxville Harley Davidson, but I know the 6 for sure treat their customers great and do what they're supposed to do, what an actual dealership's supposed to do. But I have heard horror stories about dealerships out west, up north, down in Florida, that once you buy the bike, that's it. You're pretty much on your own. And even if it's a warranty option, they really don't want to deal with it. And if they can figure out a way how to claim that it's not covered under warranty, they'll gladly do it in a hurry. And I'm like, that's not even right. Not by a long shot, especially as much money as you pay for a Harley. Most of them now, actually all of them now, cost as much as a car does. They used to have a lineup that was less, where you could buy a brand new one for less than a new car, but not anymore. They done away with the cheapest version. Now the cheapest bikes they've got now run $13,000. MSRP, of course. That's not even what you'll find it for at a dealership. The dealership's going to tack on another $2,000 as it is. Fees, delivery fee, this and that. So yeah. So realistically, your cheapest Harley now is $15,000. can buy a Nissan, a Hyundai, a Kia. Not too sure if the Ford's got a car or even Chevy's got a car now that's that cheap or not anymore. But I know finding a vehicle under 10 grand anymore is almost impossible. That's new. Used, a different story. New though, there ain't that many options anymore. Bills and crap that they're looking at trying to do in Congress, because heck, what I'm doing today probably won't be possible in the near future if DC keeps on with their laws and power grab, hungry grabs and stuff that they've been doing lately. I mean, right now they're going after the internet again. The whole TikTok thing's just a very tiny portion of it, and they're using it as the main push driver, I guess you would say, to help get everybody's approval, I guess you could say, of doing away with it, of being able to get the bill passed. And realistically, don't mind being told, like they were back in the 80s in the old USSR, the old Soviet Union, where, well, heck, we don't even have to go back that far. All we got to look at is North Korea. Look at how North Korea handles news, the internet, all of that. Now, don't like how they do all that, then the new internet bill, guess what? That's exactly what it's going to boil down to. Is government will let you, will have the ability to censor what you can and cannot see. They will have the ability to look at every single thing you type, regardless of what platform, what website, what search engine. It won't make a difference. Using a VPN even can get you 20 years in prison with this new order, with this new law, if it's passed. Yes, I've read it. Yes. It is highly tyrannical. And no, I don't support it one dang bit. I don't care. Anybody that believes in any kind of freedoms whatsoever should actually be on the same train of thought. Oh, yeah. That any kind of censoring whatsoever shouldn't be allowed. It really shouldn't. How do you think people are able to make informed decisions if you're censoring the information that they're able to look and find and see and read? They can't. They cannot realistically make any kind of informed decisions. At all. None. They will be 100% coerced decisions. Coerced on the behalf of the federal government. Because the government is what is at control of what you're able to be looking at. It's not the content creator. And it won't be the websites, web pages. it'll come down to where the federal government will be the ones looking and deciding what you can and cannot see. Which, perfect example of how this toxic military U.S. DOD, the U.S. government, the Air Force, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, they've known about the toxicity of the military bases since the early 80s. Not the 90s, not the 2010s, 2020s, the 1980s. They knew for sure at that, during them years. They knew actually before the 1980s because they were running secret tests, secret research papers since the 1950s on military personnel and their families. And those reports have been declassified here and there. Some of us that's been doing research on military bases, reports and stuff, have run across some of these papers from time to time. They go back to the 50s. I mean, one of the largest U.S. nuclear tests that was held in New Mexico was actually caught, found, reported as far east as St. Louis. And the reason why we know that is the Kodak film plant in St. Louis actually had production stopped because the radioactive fallout from a nuclear test in New Mexico caused so much havoc on the camera film that was being produced at the plant in St. Louis, they couldn't use it. They actually had to file a claim in federal tort court against the U.S. government to reclaim money for the film that was damaged and destroyed by the nuclear fallout. That was in the 50s, I believe, when that happened. Can't remember exactly what year, but I remember running across it and reading about it, and I was like, wow, okay. So to say the government cares about the public, no. The government cares about power and itself. That's all it's ever has cared about. Since, I guess, at least the 1900s, 1850s plus. But, so, the government doesn't want the information, or hasn't wanted the information to be easily accessible, I will say. From the 80s till about the mid-2010s, it was hard to find information, especially before the internet came out, because back then you had to file a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act claim form, and turn it in to a public appointed or their public affairs person for that branch or the government to see if there's even a report. 9 times out of 10, they'll come back saying, no, there is no such report. Sorry. Have a good day. Pretty much what it sums up to being before the internet. the internet is out, and they have to make it public. They have to make it easier. Around 2010-ish or so, they had to make it easier. They actually had to post some stuff online on websites. Well, the funny thing is, these publicly accessible websites weren't really known about. DOD, the Air Force, especially the Air Force, never formally came out and said, hey, look, here's the website. You want to pull up a toxic report on such and such base, go to this website, click these little buttons, and voila, here you go. You can look up whatever report you want to look up. Air Force never officially came out publicly stating that they've had a website up. I just happened to run across it one day a couple years ago. Since then, I found out that every base minus one, which is Brooks Air Force Base, Texas, is heavily contaminated. Brooks had an issue, but it wasn't that major from what the Air Force said. And I'm guessing because it was due to Brooks not being an airfield after World War II, after World War I, or probably at the start of World War II, when it actually stopped being an actual air base. And it was Brooks Air Force Base was a training and a research base, basically, after World War, or somewhere in the midst of World War II. It's when they turned it into a training base. Hence the reason why it didn't really have modern aircraft, didn't have a whole lot of any of that other stuff, so the toxins there basically became non-existent that every other base has because it wasn't used for the same purposes. But the rest of the bases, no, they're toxic. What I've seen on the internet off the Air Force's reporting website versus what's been said in public, even to this day, 180 degrees different than the actual truth. The public is not told the truth by the government. So therefore, ain't trusting the government anymore? Not likely to happen. I'd trust a drug dealer before I would the government. If they were to both knock on my door and tell me the same thing, I would trust a drug dealer before I would the U.S. government. That's how much faith I have in the government right now. Especially after reading the reports that I've read versus what they've told me. And no, that's not no tinfoil hat talking, no conspiracy theory talking. That is cold, hard, physical fact. We don't need it. That's bad news. That is really, really bad news. Downright communistic tyranny. Bad news. All because why? Some people don't like what they see on TikTok. People don't like, people are worried about the amount of data that the U.S. government, Homeland Security, CIA, FBI, and whatever other three other letter agency you can think of, already collects on us now. How do you think the CDC and Homeland Security know about roughly how many people weren't staying home during the last 3 years? Especially during that 1 year where they demanded people to stay home. I mean, there's a reason how come they was able to know, and the reason why they kept saying it. Just saying. Wasn't because they weren't looking at everybody's data, because they were knees deep in it. Actually, I would say head deep into it. Up until the Patriot Act, they had to have an actual warrant to even track your cell phone. Now they don't. So what do? They freely track your cell phone. Any agency that wants to can freely track your cell phone based off the Patriot Act. All they got is minute probability you know this guy that they're tracking across the other side of the world, because I'm in connection to that person, regardless of how minute the person. Like a 1 in 500 millionth of a chance of knowing the person. Gives them the ability to track and monitor your phone, your movements. Now, checking accounts might have warrants for that stuff.